this is one of my favorite quotes, probably because listening is one of the things I need to get better at all the time. And what most people need is a good listening. If you think about the last time you were having a conversation with someone with whom you cared, the greatest gift they could give you was the gift of their attention, their presence, and their nonverbal expression of care. And yet, it's not something we're particularly good at in this culture, in our society. But let's just get back to a couple of basics. Conversations have two parts to them. One is speaking and the other is, one would hope. Generally, it is speaking and waiting to speak. Right? And so I wanted to give you my top core listening habits that just today I have mastered. And some of them you might be able to relate to. But what I know about my listening and what I know about listening of most people is that it's something that we're not taught. We're not taught to listen very well. And we also have developed some pretty poor habits for whatever reason. I was at a meeting earlier in Denver today with someone that was kind of a pain in the neck. And she just kept talking and talking and talking. And so my habit today that I got really good at was the last one, was discounting her right to opine. So you may be able to relate with some of these poor listening habits. And one of the challenges that we have in the art incubator of the Rockies is how do we all become better listeners? Whether it's listening inside, listening to myself, or listening to the other. So we borrowed some work from a guy by the name of Doug Silsby, and Doug Silsby is a fellow coach who has written a beautiful book called The Presence-Based Coaching. And he has this delightful exercise that, if you will, I'd like to have you play with me tonight around that. But let me lay a little foundation, a little groundwork here. The first is that listening is key to all of the work that we're going to be doing with Art Incubator of the Rockies, Arts Incubator of the Rockies. Without listening, we can't build this community that means anything, that sustains itself. And so that's where we are going to start on our 3-day workshop, is teaching all of us how can we listen better. So we know that our capacity to create change is supported by putting our attention on something different. Definition of insanity we've all heard, expecting something different while doing the same thing. And what we're trying to do is create a new paradigm, a new way of being for all of us who are involved in the arts community. And so if we can put our attention on the possibilities, then that's what we want to do. Tonight, I want us to put our attention on the possibility of listening to one another. Go back for 1 second, Carrie, if you would. The other piece around this is that there is such an important relationship between the external commitments and my internal development. So before I become a good listener, I need to commit to want to be a good listener. Once I've done that, then my internal development will follow. As an artist, once I commit to being commercially viable and transcend those obstacles such as finance, children, transportation, access, once I move those into a different place, then I'm able to focus my attention on what it is that I want. So tonight we're going to focus our attention on internal listening. So, this is where Beth promised you it would be fun, so let's see it. Let's actually see it on movie. This is a command performance of all of you, and if you would first follow the first direction and find a partner right now. Find one learning partner, one other person only. This is a paired exercise. Okay, as soon as you have your partner, raise your hands together. Together.
I'm just horrified.
Okay.
This is absolutely horrifying. I shouldn't have even come here tonight.
Come on. This won't hurt. We won't make you come up here. Yeah. Who has a partner? Come on. Everybody? All right, good. All right. There's going to be a chime. And the chime is going to sound something like this. Hopefully this will work. Thank God for iPads and iPods and all that kind of stuff. So it's 4 seconds. We'll hear a chime. Was that audible? Yes. Okay. Once you hear the chime, the person who has the earlier birthday in the year becomes in the year. So if you're born in January, that's earlier than someone who's born in December. The person who has the earlier birth month, and then if you need to go to a default birthday, becomes the speaker. The person with the later birthday is the listener. Got it? Okay, first early birthday is the speaker, and then the listener is the other. The speaker will speak for 2 minutes, and the topic will be this. Why am I interested in being a part of AIR? Now, I'm making a huge assumption that you're interested because you're here. So, regardless if you don't do another thing with AIR, you're here tonight, so speak to that. You can say why you came here, what you expect, it doesn't matter, but make it a specific topic. And you will speak about that for 2 minutes. Your learning partner will be listening to you, we hope, and along the way, there's going to be distractions. She may think about, oh, the grocery list, who's picking up the kids tomorrow, all of these things are, and as the listener gets these thoughts that comes into his or her head, they raise the finger, like this, the finger, not. All right, so every time a new thought comes in that is not about what the speaker is saying, all you do is lift your finger like this. And it's silent. And for me, it kind of usually goes away. Your job as the listener is not to speak. You're not to say, oh, that's neat, oh, I did that too. Boy, that's really cool. None of that. Your job is to be silent and pay attention to what your learning partner is saying, but also pay attention to your whatever interruption is happening in your thinking. Okay? Got it? This will go for 2 minutes. Any questions before we start? Okay. So, here's the time. All right. Speakers, go for it.